All right, let's talk about a term that's absolutely everywhere these days: corporate social responsibility, or CSR. But we're not just going to give you a textbook definition. No, today we're going to deconstruct it, just like a strategy consultant would. We're going to build a clear, actionable framework so you can see exactly how modern businesses are rethinking what it even means to be successful.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the answer first, giving you a sharp definition right up front. Then we'll break CSR down into its 4 essential pillars. After that, we'll get into the business case, why this stuff actually matters, and then look at how some of the biggest companies are putting it all into practice. We'll wrap it up with a final insight on what this means for the future. It's a straight line from what is it to so what.
Okay, let's dive right in. In consulting, we always lead with the answer. So, what exactly is corporate social responsibility?
Well, at its core, CSR is really an answer to an age-old question. Is a company's only job to make money for its shareholders? Or does it have a bigger purpose, a deeper responsibility to society? CSR firmly argues for the second one.
Now, here's the formal definition. CSR is a self-regulating business model. And that's the key phrase right there, self-regulating. This isn't about waiting for the government to pass a law. It's about a company making a conscious choice to hold itself to a higher standard, accountable not just to the people who own stock, but to its employees, its customers, and the public at large.
To put it a lot more simply, it's about being a good corporate citizen. It's a shift in mindset, really. The goal isn't just to not do bad things, it's to operate in a way that actively makes society and the environment better. You go from minimizing harm to creating real positive value for everyone.
Okay, so we know what it is. But how do you actually get your arms around a concept this big? Well, you need a framework. A clear, MECE framework that's mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive for all you strategists out there. Basically, a way to cover all the bases without any overlap.
And that brings us to the 4 pillars of CSR. I want you to think of these as the 4 legs of a table. Each one is different, but you need all of them to create something stable and strong. They are environmental, ethical, philanthropic, and, this one's super important, financial responsibility. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, environmental responsibility. This is the one most people think of immediately. But it's so much more than just putting recycling bins in the break room. This is about weaving sustainability right into the fabric of the business. We're talking about redesigning supply chains to cut emissions, creating products that are built to last or be reused, and being smart about how you use natural resources. Pillar number 2 is ethical responsibility. This is all about integrity. It's about committing to operate fairly and honestly, every single time. This covers everything from paying your employees a fair wage and ensuring safe working conditions, to being transparent with investors, to sourcing materials from a diverse group of suppliers. This pillar is really the foundation of trust.
Third, we have philanthropic responsibility. This pillar is all about how a company actively gives back and contributes to making society better. And it can look like a lot of different things. Sure, it could be donating a slice of the profits to charity, but it's also about sponsoring local events, or even better, creating programs that help employees volunteer their time and their unique skills for causes they care about. It's about using your resources to make a real difference.
And finally, our 4th pillar. And this might be the most important one: financial responsibility. Now, that might sound a little strange, but think about it. This is the pillar that makes all the other ones actually happen. A company has to put its money where its mouth is. This means seriously funding R&D for sustainable products, investing real dollars in diversity and inclusion programs, and financing those big environmental projects. Without that financial backbone, the other 3 pillars are really just nice ideas on a PowerPoint slide.
So, we've defined what CSR is, and we've got a framework to understand it. But that brings us to the million-dollar question. Why should a company even bother? So let's build the business case, because this isn't just about feeling good. It's about good business. The truth is, the benefits of a solid CSR strategy are real, and they are significant. For one, it makes your brand stronger and more recognizable. It also does wonders for employee morale. People want to work for a company they can be proud of. And all of that builds a powerful layer of consumer trust, which, by the way, helps protect you from risk down the road.
But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the data. A major study by the Boston Consulting Group found a direct link between strong ESG performance, that's environmental, social, and governance, basically how investors measure CSR, and a company's actual market value. The result? An 11% valuation premium.
And what this chart shows so clearly is that investors are literally putting their money on the companies that get this right. An 11% premium. I mean, that's not a small number. That is a serious competitive advantage. This is stone-cold proof that purpose and profit aren't just compatible anymore, they're actually becoming one and the same.
And beyond just adding value, CSR is a massive tool for managing risk. I mean, think about it. A company that has its act together on ethics and the environment is way less likely to get hit with huge fines, messy lawsuits, or a scandal that just tanks their brand overnight. It's about playing the long game and building a business that's resilient.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but what does this stuff actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at how some top companies are putting these 4 pillars into action. Let's start with Starbucks. They have a really clear two-pronged approach. First, on the ethical pillar, they invest a ton in their employees, who they call partners, with stock grants and great benefits. At the same time, on the environmental pillar, they've set these incredibly ambitious goals to cut their carbon, water, and waste in half by 2030. It's a perfect example of balancing people and planet.
Or look at Home Depot. They're pouring over 1 million hours of training into their frontline employees every single year. That's a huge commitment that hits the ethical pillar by giving people real career paths, and the financial pillar, because that training costs real money. And just like Starbucks, they have a big environmental goal to run all their facilities on 100% renewable energy by 2030.
And you know, this isn't just for coffee shops or retail giants. A legacy company like General Motors won a major sustainability award in 2022, and they're backing it up with a massive commitment to use 100% renewable electricity at all of their sites around the world by 2035. For a huge manufacturer, that is a gigantic operational shift, and it shows that even the most traditional industries are making this a core part of their strategy. So this table gives us a great snapshot. You can see how each company has a slightly different focus. Starbucks is leading with a big environmental push. Home Depot is all about investing in their people. And GM is making huge financial bets on a renewable future. They're all different approaches, but they're all built on the same core framework. Okay, we've defined CSR, we've broken it down, we've seen why it matters, and we've looked at it in the real world. So let's just zoom out for our final big picture insight. What does all this really mean for the future of business? The big takeaway is this. The way we define a successful company is fundamentally changing. For decades, it was all about one thing, the financial bottom line. But now, customers, employees, and investors are demanding what's called a triple bottom line, one that measures success based on people, planet, and profit. CSR isn't some side project anymore, it's moving to the very center of corporate strategy.
And so that leaves us with one final big question to think about. In a world where your impact matters just as much as your income, what is the true measure of a company's success? It's not such a simple question anymore. And you know what? That might be the most important change of all.